Hi, Danica here. In this video, I'm going to show you how to install a brand new WordPress if you're using RunCloud for your web server management. So I have an account here and I'm using it with Hetzner. So I'm going to click my server and I'm going to click deploy new web app. Now in here, it's going to ask me PHP or WordPress. I'm going to use WordPress. I'm gonna name this custom mem dev WP Fusion because I'm gonna use this WordPress site that we're gonna install for WP Fusion tutorials. So I'm gonna use that, and then I'm just gonna leave use existing system user, and then I'm gonna leave it run cloud. You can create a new one if you want to, but leave it in default for simple steps. And then next is domain name. So you could either use a test domain, but it doesn't have SSL in it, but that's still gonna work if you just need it for temporary purpose or if you need to quickly set up a WordPress site. But for my end, I'm gonna use my own domain. So I'm gonna use dev that custom WP Fusion that custom mem that dev. I have the custom mem.dev as my domain. I use that for this test websites. And then I'm just gonna select enable www for this domain. And then we're gonna select non www. So the default is without the www in the domain name. And then if you're using the higher account, this option could be available, but I've only using the basic plan, so I need to manually set this up. So I'm gonna go to my domain name server and I'm gonna set this up. So first is a record. So I'm already here. I'm using Cloudflare, so I'm just gonna add a new one. So add a record, and then for a record, just copy and paste that part. Copy this IP and then save. Next is we're gonna need a CNAME. So create a new record and then CNAME, paste that in there, and then copy and then paste. Now that we have that record, so WP Fusion, so as you can see, we have the two already. I can now forget about this part and proceed to the next one. So in here, I'm gonna name it WP Fusion tutorials. And then I'm just gonna name it username Danica Louie for the password. I'm gonna set it here. I'm using OnePassword for saving or generating credentials. So I highly suggest you check that out as well. Just gonna edit this and I'm gonna name this properly. So just gonna name it WP Fusion Custom Dev Site. I'm gonna change the URL. So WP Fusion dot custom mem.dev, and then just save that in there so that I don't forget it. I know it's not part of this installation, but making sure saving your credentials as soon as possible is one of the best practice that I suggest you do. Now, in continuation, let's provide our email. So I'm going to provide my email here. And then I'm just going to leave this no standard installation only. And then I'm going to turn on the backup. In here, I want to name this properly. So I'm going to scroll up and I'm going to copy this web application name. Scroll down and then paste that in here. Now I'm using the RunCloud storage. It costs $2 per 100 gig at the time of this recording. The price may change later, but at the moment that's the one that I'm using. And then I'm gonna select that, but you can also send this to an external storage or locally using your web server space, but I like to put it in another storage just in case something goes wrong with my existing Hetzner account. I have a backup somewhere else. Now, for the backup type, I like to select incremental and then every 12 hours. Um, I like 1 week or 2 weeks. For this one, I'm just gonna keep it 1 week. And then I wanna select the latest version of the PHP and then deploy. So the RunCloud will keep sending you notification based on the status of the installation. So it may take few minutes depending on your setup. So let's try opening that account, domain, if that's already working. So it says invalid SSL. So let's go ahead and go to the side navigation under this application, SSL, and then we're gonna generate a new one. Now, as long as you have set up the CNAME properly, this part should work or generate the SSL properly. So select Let's Encrypt, select server side, leaving this to default. I'm leaving this check, and then deploy. Again, there should be a notification if everything goes well. If there's ever an error, it's also gonna show in here. I could try to reload if it's working. SSL, it's not yet here. So after a few minutes, this one took 5 minutes since we installed the WordPress site. So after that, the SSL has been successfully installed. So I think if we reload this page, should now work. So we now have a working WordPress site, and let's try signing in. WP Fusion, if it's here. Okay, so autofill. And then, yep, I've successfully signed in. So that's how you set up a WordPress site inside RunCloud with your selected server, how to set up the DNS record, and how to install SSL for your web application. I hope this video helps. If you have any question, feel free to comment that down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching this video. Bye-bye.